Okay, securing your manufacturing capacity during the pandemic. My name is Richard Lee. I'm heading up drug product business unit at Samsung Biologics in Songdo, South Korea. Very pleased to be here today. I'd like to spend some time together with you on recent development, and I'd like to call it as an evolution of contract manufacturing, specifically in regards to how drug product contract manufacturing business has transformed due to the pandemic. 3 big schemes that I will be talking about: COVID-19 in South Korea and our company Samsung Biologics, how we handled it. Things changed before coronavirus and after the disease, BC and AD. There's a huge paradigm shift on how we work and how we actually perform sales, tech transfer, and manufacturing operation. Everything has changed, so including manufacturing. Now, allow me to take you back to January 22nd, 2020, this year. Korea was one of the very first affected countries from China's initial outbreak. And as you may all be aware, the entire nation was initially devastated. The stock market plummeted by, whopping 36%. All air travels canceled. Streets were empty. Stores were closed down. Various automobile or manufacturing sites were shut down. Cohort isolations were everywhere. Hundreds of people were lining up in Korea at local pharmacies to obtain government-issued masks. No one was attending weddings or even funerals. Hospitals were completely congested with patients. Schools were closed down, and it was, the whole pandemic was spreading like a wildfire at one point. But the nation has been, until this day, persevering the situation with quite extensive and exhaustive care controls. Korea has very special tracking and trace program to trace back to patients who are infected with coronavirus. Not to mention the world-famous drive-through corona testing. I cannot possibly cover all interesting topics that we've done in Korea here, but as of today, Korea has about 50 million populations, and 11,000 confirmed cases were identified. And unfortunate, but only 269 people were deceased by it. That makes the fatality rate approximately 2.5%, making Korea one of the lowest ever. Now, this COVID-19 pandemic has truly changed the culture here in Korea. As an Asian culture, no longer people offer family type style dining. People no longer shake hands, but they fist pump each other. Became cool. People wear masks all the time. And, currently, I took mine off for the teleconference now, but I feel naked if I don't wear one. As a matter of fact, you will see at times encounter a automobile driver wearing a mask while driving alone in a car. It sort of doesn't make sense, but people feel comfortable wearing it. Nonetheless, the game's not over yet, but Korea handled it without shutting down the economy. Here at Samsung Biologics, we have implemented various progressive solutions. The state-of-the-art video conferencing systems throughout numerous meeting rooms. We have deployed live, virtual facility tours for the manufacturing areas so that our client, customers, or even regulatory authorities can simulate a visit live of our facility at any given time without physically traveling. We have implemented, quote, always wear your mask campaign, along with please eat alone campaign. I know it's a little sad, but in our company cafeteria, also we have placed a thermal monitoring camera on all entrances of the facility and campus to identify and isolate potential employees with escalated or raised temperature. Not to mention, we bombarded offices, areas with hand sanitizers all around. We also required twice a day temperature checks, while working from home culture is now rather well accepted for most of the employees. Each and every employees are required to take electronic surveys at the beginning of every week, requesting employees' health conditions and whereabouts, and whether you are in contact with people who traveled to restricted region or been to densely populated events such as weddings, concerts, or sporting events, simply to keep everyone accountable for their actions. You might be thinking, well, these questions may be considered as an act of privacy invasion. However, it will serve for a greater purpose in protecting our own employees and products that we manufacture, while enabling us to promptly respond to potential spread of COVID-19. Even after the working hours, the effort continues. Employees do apply social distancing, fortifying protection boundaries beyond the professional territory. They take it to their home. As Korea became the model country for handling COVID-19, Samsung Biologics pursued to become the model manufacturing site as well. As of today, none of the 25 plus employees were diagnosed with COVID-19, and we want to keep it this way. As the pandemic was spreading globally, the whole world is overwhelmingly affected and paralyzed. This wasn't a depression. This wasn't a downfall. It was a paralysis. Things just stopped with unknown consequences. But there was one thing that was common: the hunt for the cure. Many companies are currently working with us, and they're focusing on delivering and developing new products, or repurposing existing programs or products, or even coming up with new vaccines. It is indeed the perfect time for a birth of treatment or vaccines. So as expected, a surge of COVID-19 clinical runs or clinical trials initiated globally, and so as increased manufacturing demands as the world hopes for the cure. Companies all around the world are in race to actually secure commercial manufacturing slots in advance based on projections with their anticipated success of their programs relating to COVID-19. Because at the end of the day, we all know manufacturing capacity will become the most critical portion in triumphing the pandemic ultimately. Whether you are a small or large pharmaceutical company, having a predictable market forecast has never been easy. It almost became impossible to securely predict, especially for the pandemics. Rather, it became completely unpredictable. Allow me to reframe our thoughts to reach beyond our current thinking. I understand that we should mass produce treatments for now, 2020, 21, 22, and so on, but should we simply stockpile mass quantities for future? Is that the solution? Or should we secure, stockpiling is good, but should we secure manufacturing capabilities and second source or third source to allow flux in your capabilities? The capacity modeling for manufacturing drug substance or drug product will become the most pivotal tool in the coming years. Not the development of the drug. Rise and fall of pharmaceutical companies will not only be depending on types of treatment or vaccines that they develop, but it will be heavily depending on the delivery of the product, which means the manufacturing capacity. Starting from this year, we are already seeing increased requests from various clients for clinical manufacturing for COVID-19. And overall, manufacturing increased by twofold since last year. And as many countries or health organizations endorse and advocate for stockpiling plans for the very next pandemic, the manufacturing demand will continue to grow and rise for year 2021, 22, and on. With our GMP manufacturing track records, flawless records, and consideration for future expansion plans for Plant 4, Samsung Biologics can partner with you to risk manage your manufacturing needs. We are dedicated to improving the quality of life by enabling products to be delivered to patients. I would like to finalize our manufacturing expansion slide to show that we will be adding third line for commercial scale PFS and cartridge filling line by beginning of 2023, along the robotic filling line for clinical and small size batches using nested tubs by 2022. We will be also adding 2 large 42 square meter size lyophilizer by end of 2021 in current line 2. And many more to come as we will be building Plant 4, which will be equipped with line 4 and 5 and more. Currently in Korea, Songdo site, we have Plant 1, 2, 3 with large-scale drug substance and drug product manufacturing plants here for specifically for biologics and DP for small molecules as well. Thank you very much for your time, and please check out our virtual tour site to access our current facility.